Hello, this is Dr. Subhatra. In today's class, we'll see about the rails, its requirements and defects. This is a picture of a rail. You can see that it is similar to steel girder. In Indian Railways, the standard length of each rail is, it ranges from 11 to 12 meter. That is 11.89 meter for meter gauge and 12.80 for broad gauge. What are the main function of the rail? The main function of all the parts is to transfer the load, okay, from the train to the bottom portion. That is the primary function of a rail. And apart from that, to provide a continuous and the level surface or a smooth movement of the train, rail is required, okay, without any friction. To provide a smooth travel for the passengers, rails are provided, and the lateral guide should be served, okay, and it should bear the stress developed by means of temperature changes and also the loading pattern. Every time the loading and the temperature will not be same. As it is exposed to the sun during the daytime, the temperature will be more and the expansion of the steel will be more, and during the night time or in the winter season, the steel, the rails which is made up of steel will start to shrink. Therefore, the change in length will be seen. It also has to resist the braking forces when the train is supposed to be stopped. When a rail is said to be ideal, if it follows all these criteria, okay, it should withstand the lateral forces, the underside of head and top of foot of the rail section should be in a slope so that the fish plates can be fixed, and it should transfer the load from the train to the sleepers. Everything should be within the permissible limit, and the center of gravity of the rail section should coincide with the center of the height of the rail. If it does not coincide, there are chances of skidding. The web portion should be such that it can safely bear the vertical load. Okay, then the surfaces of the rail table and the gauge face should be sufficiently hard to resist the wear. How the head should be, how the foot should be, then the section should be in an I shape. The end-to-end rails should be joined perfectly by means of fish plates. So these are the different types of rail section: double-headed, bull-headed and flat-footed. The first picture is the double-headed. Both the head, that is the top flange, and the bottom flange, head and the foot, are in the same size, 70, and also this is also in 70 mm. When you can see the difference in bull-headed rail. The top portion, the width is 68.7 mm, but the bottom portion width is 65.5 mm. And in flat-footed rail, the top portion is 66.7, but the foot is of larger width, 136.5 mm. This is the difference between the different sections of rail. The main advantage of the double-headed rail is, since both are in the same shape, the dumbbell section, you can, after some course of time, this can be inverted and reused. This is a major disadvantages, so that it can give the smooth running. You don't want to repair it often. But in bull-headed rail, the top portion is thicker, stronger, but the lower portion is very thin. So the cost will be less, but it can withstand the stress. Only up to the point of withstanding the stress, the metal portion is provided. And coming to the flat-footed rail, it is also called as Vignolles rails. Initially, they were fixed to the sleeper directly. See here, since the width is very large, it can be fixed directly. This figure shows that this flat foot is fixed directly to the sleeper. It does not need any fixtures and fastenings. Okay, these are some of the rail joints. Supported rail joint, suspended rail joint, staggered joint is there, expansion joint is there. Many types of joints are there. For example, this is a suspended rail joint. At the junction place, the sleepers are not provided. When it is provided, it is called as a supported rail joint. This is called as an expansion joint. During a hot season, the metal will expand. For that, a gap is provided for expansion at the end. Here the metal can expand. In this way also the metal is allowed to expand. Then coming to the creep of rail. This is a flaw. This is a defect in the rail. When there is a longitudinal movement of rail with respect to the sleeper, when the train wheel is moving in this direction, the rail will also move in the same direction. So the gap, the junction, see here, the gap is larger, it is wider. This defect we'll call it as a creep. This is shown in the figure like a wave action. Okay. This is the direction of movement. The rail will also move in the same direction. This can be explained by means of a dragging theory. The backward thrust on the driving wheel of locomotive of the train pushes the rail off backwards. In the meanwhile, when the locomotive and the wheel pushes the rail in the direction of travel. So, such a drag effect can also be explained using wave action theory, which is shown here. This is the wave action theory. See, the rails are moving as like a wave in the ocean. It results in the creep of rails in the forward direction. This can also be explained by means of percussion theory. Due to the impact of wheels at the rail end, heads at the joint. Okay, this is called as a creep of rail. What are the factors affecting the magnitude and direction of creep? It may be due to the alignment of track or grade of track, type of rail, or when the direction of the heaviest traffic. These are the reasons. Okay, due to the creep, what are all the effects? The track may buckle. The joints may open out beyond the permissible limit. Okay, it is difficult to fix the removed part and bringing back to the proper positioning. All the fixtures and fastenings will get removed, and because of that dismantling may happen. So these are the effects of creep. This picture shows about the points and crossings. See, two or more rails are joined here. The movement of switches is made difficult and the interlocking is thrown out of gear also. What we can do for the creep? What are the measures we can do? We can pull back the rail to its original position, or we can use more number of anchors. Per rail we can use 4 anchors or 6 anchors based upon the dimension or the width of the creep. Or you can use steel sleepers because it is a good material. We can do proper fitting in that, or else we can increase the number of sleepers also. So this picture shows how the anchorage is provided. Okay. This rail wear, due to the passage of moving loads and friction between the rail and the wheel, the rail head worns out. It is called as wear. See the top portion. It may be on the top side or it may be on the sides. Okay, so top portion, on sides, or at the end of the rail, wear may happen. So the size is getting reduced. It depends upon the location also. In sharp curves or in the gradients or on the stations, when the brake is applied in the train, wear may happen. Okay, then the next class we'll see the remaining things. Thank you.